Hello, everyone. I'm McKenzie Mitchell, and welcome to Threads.
Today we're in Orlando, Florida, and we're sitting down with a platinum-selling singer-songwriter. His major label debut, Take It All Away, hit number 8 on the Billboard 200 album charts, and he has captured hearts of American music fans ever since. His tunes have been featured on multiple popular television shows and movies, such as Fantastic Four, Son of the Mask, Will and Grace, and So You Think You Can Dance. He's a producer, actor, television star, husband, and new dad, Ryan Cabrera. Ryan, thanks for being on Threads.
Of course.
I'm so glad to be in your awesome home.
Thank you
for having us.
Of course. Well, when you talked about it, I was like, what better place than so you can get a vibe of like.
Oh, I love it.
What home life is like.
And you're the first musician, singer-songwriter to have on Threads. I typically
nice.
talk about the wrestling business. You know a thing or two about that as well.
There's some belts around here.
Right, but this will be a different conversation, a different direction, if you will. So
Okay.
I'm excited to be here.
Hit me down.
So I want to start this off by asking, what do you feel like is your personal style? What do you classify your personal style as?
Ooh. So is this now or is this like over time?
You could have
or
multiple answers to this one.
I like to, so if I was to start a brand, and I've already wrote this down so nobody steal it. If I were to start a clothing brand or like, let's say Threads, if you will, I would call it King of Leisure.
Okay.
So it is definitely kind of, my wife says it's like kind of like the grandparents, like an old retired grandparent in Florida kind of vibe.
Okay.
But mix in, I mean, I was like, I think that's dope though. Kind of.
Yeah.
So casual, but still kind of, I'm still, kind of in the, I'm not wearing baggy jeans, not really my thing, like I did in high school. But I would say casual, comfy, but with a little flair. Also maybe a little eccentric. But see, here's the thing is like, the way you are, the way you dress, like you don't really, I've started to realize by the way my wife talks about the way I dress, that you don't really realize how you dress or like what your style is really like. It just is. And so when she says like, oh, it's very eccentric, or you clearly are very, secure in your masculinity, when she's describing
That's the
my
way
style,
she describes it, right?
Sometimes, yes, that I'm like, oh, I just thought I dressed normal. And then people are like, oh, because then people will also do that whole like, oh, I couldn't pull that off, but Cabrera could. And I'm like, wait.
What does that mean?
Because I believe that anybody could pull anything off. It's really just to like, if you believe and you feel good in it, then you could pull it off.
But I will say that you've mastered the art of, you like to be comfortable.
Yes.
But you always feel and you look pulled together. I will say that.
Yeah.
Because you have like a skinny pant, but it looks comfortable,
there is also
right?
Yes, it's all, comfort is a very, very important part of it. There's also times when I'll show up to places and they're like, that is more patterns and, things that I've ever seen on one human being. But somehow it works, and that annoys the hell out of me,
Well, that was my next question, actually, is you're not afraid to mix your patterns and your colors and all of that. Has that something have you always done that, or is that developed over time? Yeah, because
I look back even like from like when my first album came out, and I'll see striped pants because I loved like pinstripe pants, and then like a button-down shirt with big. I used to wear ties a lot. I
was gonna ask you about that too.
Tie was the thing, and then that would have like circles or like diamonds and other patterns, and I never really realized it until I looked back at some old photos and stuff. But I was golfing a couple weeks ago, and AJ McLean was like, dude, so you got polka dot socks, striped pants, circles on your shirt, and then your hat has like feathers and all this. I was like, what is this? I was like, this is the King of Leisure, baby.
This is me.
The King of Leisure.
That's right.
Is here to golf, and guess what happened? I won a prize for best dressed.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because here's the thing, is at the golf tournaments, it's really all I have is the fashion part. So like, I have my like really fancy like golf shoes they're more like Crocs than golf shoes actually.
Comfortability again.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, laces. It's very rare that I wear laces.
Okay.
So now that, because I'm living that Baja Croc lifestyle.
We love that. It's a Florida lifestyle. We're here in Florida, obviously.
In California, like that was. I used to be a hater. I'll be honest. I used to talk crap about all my friends that wore Crocs, and then I was like, you know what? Let me try those things. And I tried it once,
converted.
and I never went back. So then I even wore, like even my wedding, I figured out, except Lex wouldn't let me wear Crocs, obviously.
Naturally.
I tried, but it was a hard.
Hold on, let's revert. Let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
You tried to wear Crocs at your wedding?
I did.
And she said absolutely not, right?
Yep, very fast.
Okay, does she?
It wasn't even a question. I was like, can you at least pretend to consider it for a second? Just act like
You were gonna walk
maybe
down the
not.
aisle with Crocs on?
Hell yeah.
So, okay, but there is something to be said. You could have, changed into like for the after party Crocs.
Well, if you see now, there's like so many different like styles of Crocs, and then there's Crocs that aren't necessarily just Crocs, but like, for example, my golf shoes, they look like dress shoes. They just don't have any laces, and they're the same material as Crocs.
I see.
So that was how I pulled it off, because I had the company. I made custom shoes. They're called Citizens now, but they're custom made just for the wedding, and she let me do that.
Okay.
And they look good. And all the grooms people did the same thing. They all were wearing the custom made ones, and it was a way that I got away with.
Negotiation.
Yeah.
You made it
So
happen.
I didn't have to wear socks.
Has there ever been a time that you had all these patterns on and it just didn't work? Like,
I'm sure 99% of the time
but
it doesn't
what about
work.
you,
but
in your opinion?
in
that
my
you're
opinion,
like,
it always works.
always
Yeah.
works. Okay.
Because I really don't care. Like I've kind of just worn what I've worn, and then if someone like it, someone doesn't like it. Or there's been times where, I've been in magazines, like Us Weekly, of like, what the hell were they thinking? Like the back section of that kind of thing.
Okay.
I considered it an honor.
Wow. Okay.
was proud
I
of
love that. I love that. You were talking about the loose tie.
Yes.
Where did that inspiration come from to begin with?
I think what happened was I just wore one once at one concert, and I remember at the end of the concert, it was just a random occurrence. Like I wasn't like wearing ties on the reg. I was wearing a lot of diesel back in those days. But so one concert, I wore a tie. At the end of the concert, instead of like throwing my pick, I like ripped off my tie and threw it out of the crowd. And there was like, a moment where like they kind of went crazy for that. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I was like, maybe that could be a thing. So then from that point on, I started wearing some ties so that way I could throw them out at the end of the shows.
Smart.
And then like on that tour, it became a thing like, who's going to get Ryan's tie kind of thing. And then we ended up selling merch, like ties as merch down the road. So it ended up being kind of smart.
So how much do you listen to your fans and what they want for you to wear? I guess that would be an example, right?
For that, yeah, because that was kind of, an engagement, a way to, kind of make the crowd participate and get something special. And but it was the fat ties. It wasn't the skinny ties. Like, like now I'm more of a skinny tie person. I don't know if I would rock the fat ties, but it was the big old ties back then.
Strategy. We've got to talk about your hair.
Okay.
The
No way.
evolution.
Never.
The evolution of Ryan Cabrera's hair.
Yeah.
Is there a favorite version of your hair that you like the best?
Not really, because that was, for me, it was just always a way to express myself. I've never really liked to do anything the normal way, or, like just to fit in kind of thing. So even like in high school, I had like little tiny spikes, and I would just color the tips. And, I got picked on a lot for that. I went to an all boys college preparatory school, so that definitely wasn't like a cool thing or anything, but I think I just wanted to be different than everybody else. So that's kind of where it started. And then it kind of morphed into just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and spikier and spikier. And then when people started to talk about it, like I never even thought about it. And then when it kind of became a thing, like when we were in interviews and people asked about the hair, I'm like, oh, is this like a thing? I was like, oh, all right, well then I'm going to make it even bigger and crazier. And it got to a point to where it was definitely ridiculous, like too big, too crazy, too whatever. But, at the time, it was the thing.
Were you using like a can of hairspray a day on
A lot.
this?
A lot.
So you were just like, blow drying, kind of like the 80s, or what? Like, how were you doing
It was a
your
whole
hair
thing.
like that?
To be honest, like I don't even remember exactly how I did it. Like if somebody, because I remember like a couple years ago trying to do it again just for shits at like a Halloween thing or something like that. Because someone was like, "Oh, dude, you should do like the spiky thing." I tried to get it, couldn't figure out how I did it, and I don't really remember. I know I did the thing for like People magazine once where I explained how I did the hair, but it didn't make sense to me. Like I tried it, I was like, I don't know how I did it.
And for a moment, you had long hair as well.
Oh yeah, that was a thing.
That was a
So
thing. That was a moment.
That was because the record label at the time, we were putting out a new record, and so they thought it'd be a great like marketing plan for me to shave my head. So they said, and that was where I was very, very like anti, like don't tell me how to dress, don't tell me, because you hear all the stories of artists where they're like, pop music. A lot of times they'll be like, here's the look, we need you to wear this, here's your stylist, blah blah, blah, and they'll kind of dictate a style. Like I always just did my own kind of thing. Like every once in a while for our TV show, we had a stylist, but I would pick out all the clothes. I never let anybody like dress me kind of thing. And so I was like, wait, you're adults, and you're telling me, I'm 23 years old, or so. I was like, you're telling a 23-year-old kid like to shave his head, like I have to shave my head? I was like, that doesn't make sense to me. I was like, if this is about music, because I was always like, this is about music, right? I didn't really, now I kind of, I'm older, I understand it's a bigger picture. There's the marketing, the look is kind of a thing, but when you're 23 years old and you're like, wait, but I like my hair. Like, why would I shave the exact opposite? And I was on the same label as Rob Thomas, and it was Rob Thomas had just shaved his head, which is a big deal because he was kind of known for his like shaggy hair. So when he shaved his head, like people like loved it. I was like, yeah, but I don't want to. And so I did the opposite. So just to piss off the record label, I grew my hair out long and then grew out a little mustache and a beard.
Wow. But there's something to be said for your own branding to come through that feels like you and authentic to you as well.
It was, because it represented what I was about, which was making music. Like I wasn't trying to be an image. So I was like, what does it matter what I look like? I get it, but I think actually like in that time period, it mattered a little bit more. Now, like once after like 2010 to even now, which is friggin' awesome, the look doesn't really matter. Sometimes the anti-look, sometimes not looking the great, works even better.
I mean, look at Billie Eilish. Like, she just wears
she just does
whatever
her own thing.
she wants.
Baggy, not trying to.
Like, she shows up in her Crocs and her sweatpants, and she's like, this is me, and this is what I'm going to bring to the table today.
And then my music speaks for itself. So I was kind of in that, mindset at the time. So I was like, I'm shaving my head because you guys want me to. I was like, that's ridiculous. So I grew my hair out long, grew a mustache and beard, and then got dropped off the label. Fantastic.
Great. Good. Perfect.
I showed them.
You sure did.
I showed that. But it did bring in a little bit of a different demographic at the time, because it went from like, young like teens to like, all of a sudden the moms were coming out, and it was like a little bit of a older demographic. When I grew the hair out long, I was like, wait, what just happened? I was like, oh, it's the hair and the beard and the look.
This episode of Threads is sponsored by Factor Meals, taking the mess and hassle out of making dinner at home. For me, my eating habits have to be as flexible as my lifestyle. I'm always on the go, and it's rare that I have time to truly think about, shop, and create meals at home that are innovative and delicious at the same time. Factor Meals is a game changer. With chef-curated dishes that you can pop in the microwave for just 2 minutes and done, it's a no-brainer. I've been loving their protein-packed meals. Just like the rest of us, I never get enough protein. But with Factor, I'm fueling my body just like I am my ambition. Plus, here at Threads, we know that feeling good in what you're wearing starts with what you're intaking. So you too can see what the talk is all about by heading to factormeals.com/threads50 and use code threads50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code threads50 at factormeals.com/threads50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. Don't miss out on the convenience. This one is iconic.
How important do you feel that it is for musicians to evolve their look throughout the years, throughout time?
I mean, it's up to them. I think obviously everybody wants to continue to reinvent themselves and try new things. And I feel like that's important. It's the same thing like with that record when I grew my hair out long. Like I wouldn't drop like right away because they saw my hair kind of thing. But I turned in the record, and then they wanted, they're like, well, can you write like another True, which was like my big ballad. I was like, but wait, I already did that. I was like, I already made that record. Like can you write another On the Way Down? Can you write another like blah? I was like, but that was on that album. I'm trying to evolve and grow.
Forward.
And same thing, with fashion, obviously, as you can see from like obviously there's old like stuff, you see what it was like then to now. If you just stayed the same, I don't know, for me at least personally, like I think it would be, I'd be bored.
Well, I have to note that you are wearing my jewelry line
I
today.
am. I didn't even know
not
this was about fashion. No, I stole this from my wife because she was wearing it a couple weeks ago. Well, she's gonna find out now. She doesn't know I stole it, but she was wearing it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, "That's dope." And she goes, "That's McKenzie's."
Thank you.
Well, I had no idea. I just saw. I was like, "That's sick," and she was wearing it, and so. She knows, like, if she leaves something laying around, and you're wearing it too.
And here I'm wearing the same one today.
Oh, that's sick.
Okay, well, I'll have to get you a
I'm going to
gold
order
one.
another one, yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to get you
But
a
this
gold.
works for guys and girls. It's not like one of those, seems like the line that's where you're like, oh, I don't know if a guy can pull that off. I was like, dude.
Totally. I've had a lot of men that have purchased this item.
100%, so it's dope. She knows if she leaves something lying around and I like it, like it's going to.
That's hilarious.
She does the same thing to me,
Well,
though.
on that question, who has a bigger closet, you or Lexi?
Size-wise or more clothes?
Ooh, I guess both, right?
So in our house in California, her closet is about the size of our entire room.
Okay.
She has a very, very large closet, and then my closet is very humble. We'll say there, But I've had a lot more time to acquire clothes. So even though you might think like she probably has more clothes, I get rid of stuff a lot and try to donate it and stuff.
For you,
so if you looked at like over the time period, I've had like 20 years of getting clothes
accumulation
and stuff.
of
Yeah,
stuff.
so I'll blame it on the fact that she's way younger.
Okay.
But as far as like who has more clothes, I mean, here at this house, I have three closets.
3 closets.
Because I combined a lot of stuff from other places,
I
so
see.
put it all in here, and I like clothes.
Hey, that's
And
okay.
it's so hard to get. I mean, and I do get like about every 6 months I go through and I'm like, I just force myself like if I haven't worn this within this year, like I need to donate it.
Smart, because my husband does the same. He loves shoes. He has tons of shoes, but he wears one pair of shoes every day, and he calls them the everyday shoes. And I'm like, this is not a thing. Like
That's a thing.
Well, I guess so, but like the amount of shoes that he has in his closet,
Right,
I'm
versus
like,
what
we
you
could,
actually wear.
spice it up every once in a while, wear a different pair of Nikes or whatever. So how much of influence does Lexi have on your look?
Well, see, none.
None, okay.
I mean, she knows that she's like, I'm not even gonna try. But she's more like Vic. She has a very large array of like colors too. There's colors in there, and she'll tell you, and she wears the same thing every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yoga pants and a band t-shirt.
Understood.
And then she'll jazz it up with like a really cool jacket. And like that's just her thing. But she has like I'm like, babe, look at all the colors in there. There's like so much vibrance and life in that closet. And she's like, I'm gonna go black on black.
Hey, whatever she feels comfortable in. I understand
100%.
that.
She loves it.
Back to the jewelry. You wear jewelry quite often.
I do.
What
that's what kind of makes everything different. It's like you can wear yoga pants and a band shirt every day, but the jewelry that she jazzes it up with is always different.
That's right. How do you style and accessorize?
And I love rings. I love rings.
What is your favorite accessory or a jewelry piece that you have that you love?
That would be I actually had, it was a gift from the family. I have one of Elvis's like actual rings with the lightning bolts on it.
Wow.
So I was really close with Lisa Marie, and I dated her daughter back in the day, and so I remained close with the whole family, Priscilla and everybody. So I got a ring from like one of Elvis's actual rings. So I never really wear it unless I'm in the studio.
Yeah, it has to be a special moment, I would imagine.
So I channel that, like I try to channel the energy from the ring when I get into the studio to record music. Other than that, like I leave that kind of in my own space, my little safe. So that one's really special to me, just because obviously because Elvis is one of the greatest artists of all time, but for me it's more of like a memory of the family. So that one means a lot to me. And then, of course, my wedding rings, which I have 2. I got one daytime, one nighttime.
I like that because I have 3. So I have 3 different wedding rings, one from my kids, one from, obviously, engagement, and one from our Italy wedding.
Oh, nice.
So I like that. I like the touch to that.
Well, it worked out good, too, because there was one ring at a certain store that's very expensive that I would never, ever, buy a ring from, but it was dope. So I hit somebody and I'm like, Lex, I was like, how cool would this be as a wedding ring? It's not very traditional because it has like this cool stuff. But
really
I was like,
cool.
But I'm like, but babe, check this out. She's like, wait, you want us cool in your wedding ring? I said, till death do us part.
Okay.
And she was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I was like, see? So then I got one with the white diamonds and one with the black diamonds for nighttime.
Nice.
So I could switch it out.
Nice. Speaking of, you've been a part of so many music awards and capstone events and red carpets. Do you have a favorite look from one of those major events?
Absolutely.
Oh, that was a hands down answer.
Absolutely. I believe it was the either American Music Awards or Billboard Awards. One of it was in Vegas. But the reason behind this outfit, so the outfit was just some blue jeans and a jacket, and then I had a shirt that said 3% on it that I had made. And that was because of the month before or something, I was in Miami. I was filming this movie. And there was so if I don't do my hair or straighten it, it's super curly and it's a big ol' afro. Curly and it's a big fro.
Okay.
Like massive. And at the time, the movie that we were filming was set in like the 70s, so I let it grow on purpose. And when I get out of the shower, it's super curly, super froey. And a buddy of mine, when it was there, he saw it out of the shower and it was dried. It was so ridiculous. He was like, dude, your hair looks dope like that. I was like, what? He's like, no, it looks cool like that. You should just like, for once, because we're going out to Harvey Keitel's 70th birthday party. And I'm like, I'm going to like, Harvey Keitel's birthday party. Like, what do you mean do my hair like this? He's like, dude, it looks cool like that. And I think he was just obviously messing with me, and I didn't know at the time. I fell for it. I was like, really? I was like, all right, I'll just leave it like that. And so I went out, and I also lost a bet. So on top of doing the hair like that, I lost a bet, and so whoever lost the bet had to wear the certain T-shirt. So I had this like T-shirt with this giant bald eagle on it. Not typically something like as far as like my fashion was it was one of those like Urban Outfitters like in the back corner clearance $2.99 shirts that he didn't wear. So I'd wear the shirt, rocked my hair like that, and I knew it looked terrible at the time. He convinced me it looked great, so I was like, all right, I'll just do it. I was like, oh, that could be whatever. It is what it is. Just going to a birthday party. Get to the lobby of the hotel, paparazzi everywhere.
Nice.
In the lobby of the hotel. So I'm like, oh. So, I'm taking my pictures, paparazzi. I was like, whatever. They're not going to go anywhere. Nobody's going to post a picture of me. Who cares? Next week, it was in Us Weekly, and it said, there's that section that says hot or not. So people thought I was like legit, thought I looked good, like trying to do my selling.
But it was
I knew
it was
I
a
didn't
joke.
look good. It looked terrible.
Yeah, it was a whole
Looked
thing.
awful. And then we got the results back, and as you can imagine from the shirt that I wore, the American Music Awards, Billboard Awards, whichever, 3% hot, 97%
Not. Got it. Wow.
So yeah, so that was my. So
What
I
a
was trying to
story, though.
I was just like trying to take the piss out of it. So I was like, so I had a shirt made that said 3%. So then we were doing like all the interviews, and they're like, "What's 3%?" I was like, "3% hot, baby." I was like, voted.
Hey,
you're all American hottie.
Sometimes you just got to run with it, though, right?
Oh, I
That's
did.
the fun in it.
No, of course. That's why I think that goes down as my favorite outfit, because then it was all in magazine and stuff, and no one really even knew like I think real reason why I wore it.
True meaning.
Yeah.
Well, now everybody will know. Now everybody will
now
know, right?
3% hot. Kids still got it.
Love it.
It's officially that time of the year again. NFL Week 1 is here, and we have partnered with our friends at DraftKings for a tailored deal that you don't want to miss. All eyes will be on Sunday night's game, the Lions versus the Rams. You can get the Lions at -3.5 in their first home game this weekend. Ready to place your first bet as sharp as your style? Well, score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the best place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code COMBINE. That's code COMBINE for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 and get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium on us. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-78-97777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. Additional NFL Plus premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
You're on a Pop 2000s tour
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, just got back.
How are you putting your looks together for tour?
Now I just like the real like comfy shirts like this, like the just the button downs. Because for this tour, I'm sweating a lot. Oregon.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
We're out there, so I was sweating. So I was like, this one feels a little more breezy. So anything a little more breezy is good.
Is there a must that you have to have when you are on stage performing in your attire?
Not particularly. No, I think, or sometimes now like too. So it's either these shirts or like just like a good jacket. So if I usually start with the jacket, and then by like song 2 or 3 it comes off. But like a good I like sparkles too. I'm not afraid to shine.
Love that.
I like sequins. I like things that shine.
Good for you, yeah. Meant to shine.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good sparkly jacket is sometimes a necessity.
What is the hardest fabric to perform in on stage?
Jeans.
Denim. I was going to say denim,
Yeah, I
leather,
don't do it.
suede. You
Don't do it. No.
You don't do denim.
Don't do it.
Have you had an experience in the past that then just turned you off and you said, okay, I can never again?
Oh, you're right. I mean, I used to wear denim back in the day, because I see you from the picture. Diesel jeans was like my go-to. Baggy too. So I'm surprised that it wasn't like too hard then. But like now, I wore, for a while I wore like these like skinny, maybe it's because they're too skinny. Like skinny, like clear, like white jeans, and then these get dirty and it's like sweaty.
You and Matt Cardona. Not that he wears it on stage, but he wears the skinniest jeans possible. You see him on the weekend.
But he's got those he's got muscles. So so you can like see every muscle, so they look like they're about to like burst.
I want to get your opinion on something.
Okay.
I have a very formed
tell you the truth
opinion or thought on this. I'm not going to tell you before I ask the question.
Okay.
What is your thought in an artist wearing the same thing every night on tour?
Typically, it's getting cleaned, right?
I don't know. Do we know? So I'll give you some backstory.
I can't really judge because I and Lex would say this, like when we met, I wore the same pair of pants every single show.
Okay, did you wash them every night?
No.
Okay.
Did not.
I bet that smelled great.
Probably
and
not.
She loved
Didn't
them.
even think about it because so pants are something you wear too many times in a row on the road. Because I was like, I didn't even think I did, but then when I look back, she would show me pictures. I'm like, oh my God, I did. And then I guess because we just started dating, her and her friends would talk about it. They would be like, is he wearing the pants? And Lex would be like, yes, he's wearing the same damn pants. Like, I don't think he owns another pair of pants. And I do. I got lots of pants. It's just when you get something you like, especially a pair of pants, like I'll wear them out.
But I think that's a thing that a lot of dudes think that you don't have to wash your pants.
Yeah, maybe like every 2 weeks.
Vic, he actually thinks he doesn't need to wash his denim pants. And I'm like, no, honey, you have to wash your pants.
Yeah,
I'm guilty. Still smell.
I'm guilty of that.
Okay, so let me.
I'll probably play like 10 shows without washing them.
That's kind of weird, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Okay.
He does. He feels me.
I'll give you my formed opinion.
Okay. I can already tell.
Are you ready? Opinion. So back in like the 1980s, like you look at Kiss and you look at some of these like iconic rock bands and pop stars. There wasn't any social media. So they were able to wear the same outfit every single night and still give the same appeal to a fan.
But you have a look for a tour specifically, like a lot of acts will be like, this is the look for this tour.
Okay.
So most people can get away with it on tour, like if especially if they're on a bigger tour, because then they have somebody wash it every night and then they'll put out the same, or they'll have like 3 or 4 the exact same outfits, and then it'll look like it's the same outfit, but it'll be. And I'm guilty of that too, because I'll buy the same thing. I usually buy 2 if I like something a lot. I'll definitely get 2 of it.
Okay.
Because for me, it's not because I'm washing it every day. It's just because I know I'll lose it.
Interesting.
But for touring wise, I get like why if somebody's on a tour with a specific look, they'll wear the same thing all the time.
That's interesting.
We don't on our tours, because I mean, even like O-Town, every night they do something different.
Well, I mean, you look at the likes of like Taylor Swift. Obviously, she's on a mega stage.
Yeah,
she's selling out
that's
stadiums.
Different, yeah.
And she's got a different look every night. I feel like
Does she really?
Yeah, you guys would have a different look every night.
I would too if I was Taylor Swift.
Not to shit on Dua Lipa, but I went to see Dua Lipa. And I'd already felt like I saw the concert because she put everything on social media. And she was wearing the same jumpsuit that was made specifically for the tour.
Right.
And so then my experience as a fan wasn't as special because I love the fashion aspect of it.
Right.
So when she came out, I had already seen
That'd be
the look
really
a million times.
hard though, because if you're thinking about like, let's say you're doing a 90-day tour.
Sure.
To do like when you got Taylor Swift,
of money,
it's quite
of course,
different.
I get
it's not
it.
even like necessarily a money thing. It's just to have the people, to do that for you and be able to be like, hey, today I'm gonna pull you 30 outfits to choose for tonight specifically. Versus some other tours, that could get pretty costly to try. So it's like we're gonna do 90 shows with different outfits.
I understand. I wanted to get your take.
It's
from
harder
a
for
musician.
I think female artists too, because I think I feel like they get judged harder for fashion, what they're wearing, versus like, Post Malone could go out with a pair of jeans, no shirt on, and be like, sweet, do that every night. That's awesome.
And he probably does, to be honest, right?
And girl, Alex, I know even from Lex, like she'll be like, oh, I can't wear that again. I wore it on Woah. I'm like, wait, what do you mean? I was like, why can't you wear it again? I didn't, I do know that's a thing just from, previous girls in the industry that day. They're like, once they wear something, they never wear it again. I'm like, that sucks because, guys, I'll wear the same thing 10 different carpets.
And
whoever
matter. Started that for us females,
Not
it
cool.
needs to be removed, right?
Yeah,
What's
100%.
old is new again. We should bring it back.
Well, you wear a different jacket with a different body, you accessorize differently. It's a completely different outfit.
That's right. When Ryan Cabrera was first hitting the music scene, was there someone that you were taking inspiration from or trying to emulate, if you will, in your look?
In my look, so musically, like when I first started, I just wanted to be like Dave Matthews. But fashion-wise, No, I just kind of
Did your thing.
Did my thing. I remember I wore a lot of chokers. I wore a lot of I used to wear a lot of sweatbands.
And gloves
was,
for
a
a
thing.
minute.
Did I wear gloves?
When I was.
Oh, yeah. There was a time when I was wearing the gloves, like the little cut-off finger gloves.
Why the choker and the gloves?
I don't know. For me, it was like I was like the more the better.
Eccentric you could do it. So
Yeah,
Lexi's
it was
hit the
like,
nail
why
on
are
the
you
head
wearing
here.
9 necklaces out? It's crazy. It was a thing though.
Yeah. Well, you're re-releasing some music. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I'm doing a little bit of both because so we're re-releasing some stuff because this is the 20-year anniversary of my first album.
Congrats.
So thank you. I thought for, just to kind of do something cool. We haven't told people what we're doing yet, but yes, I will be re-recording a couple of the biggest hits in a completely different way. So it'd be like just kind of something special and a couple different collabs that people might not expect. Just to just for fun, because right now, it's obviously 20 years is a big time because it's also, that's 20 years of people who never heard this music. So there's, a lot of parents who are now playing, our music that came out 20 years ago for their kids who have no idea who I am. And that are like, oh, so we'll start to see like a different generation of audience coming to our Pop 2000 tour.
Right.
So it's kind of like, it's fun. It's like if I re-release that and they'll be like, oh, this is kind of, because we're doing it more in a modern way or of like how we would release it if we were recording it right now. And then that might, spark people to check out the other new stuff that we're putting out as well. So it's just kind of fun.
You said you're re-releasing. Are you putting out new music as well?
We are, yeah.
On top of that.
So yeah, so
Can
we
you
have
give
new,
us
some new music that I've been recording for a while. So it's been kind of in the back burner of life, but so the entire time I've always been writing and recording, and then finally we came to a point where we're like, okay, now we have like 30 songs. Let's hone it down and figure out a couple, and we're gonna kind of do it in like little stings, like EPs, because I don't think me putting out like 15 songs is too much. People don't have the attention span where they're like, I just want to hear one song and then move on.
Will it feel like OG Ryan Cabrera, or will it have a different feel to it this time?
Both. So it still does, because I'm still writing all the music myself. You can't when you write the music, like you can't help but be yourself, I think. But it definitely has more of a current-ish sound. Not like current, like trying to be like what you hear on the radio now, but just like, probably not what I would have done in 2002, totally. but for now, like, it still has my roots though.
I love that.
Yeah.
You're now a husband and a father. How much of that influence are you taking? You're adulting.
I'm adulting.
Welcome.
I'm all grown up.
Me too, I guess. I just turned 30, so gosh,
crazy.
We're all adulting. How much of the influence of your family are you bringing into your music now?
A lot, actually. Well, half of the songs are about Lex, and then now I'm re-recording. I was a song about Hendrix, and then I'm re-recording another song that I'm like kind of changing the lyrics. So I'm going to do True. I'm going to re-record True. But I realized that, a lot of the lyrics in there kind of can parlay to, how you feel about your first daughter, And so I'm going to rework the lyrics. So instead of being, a love song for a lover, it'll be a love song for my daughter.
Really
so I thought
nice.
that would be special for the 20th anniversary. So now, everything is based around your family now. Your whole life is your wife and kids. So.
Right.
But then there's a couple other songs that are just fun.
Totally.
Well, I'm like, babe, I wrote this before I met you, so please don't get mad.
And how does she feel about that? She understands.
Oh, no.
Huh?
She's like, I like the song, or she'll be like, no, I don't like it.
That's okay. Yeah. That's great.
She's my honest critic, which is good.
As she should be. Well, thank you for your time.
Oh my God,
it's been so
awesome.
fun chatting and catching up on
Who
Threads.
would have known?
Who would have known? And you didn't even know you were coming into a show about style today.
I had no
so
idea.
here we go.
That's the thing. Like for nowadays, like with what we do now, like I think it's more fun to, kind of just
go with the wind.
Keep things
yeah.
fresh.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Well, Ryan, thanks so much. It's been great.
It's a pleasure to be here.